Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Frame Metric podcast, where we explain decision intelligence in plain English. Today's episode is called Trust, Not Intelligence. AI does not solve trust problems. It amplifies them. Let's start with the real problem. Most organizations do not have an intelligence problem. They have a trust problem. AI can generate answers faster than any human analyst. But speed without trust is dangerous. The real question is not whether AI can produce an answer. It's whether anyone should act on it. One of the most consistent surprises when working with operational data is how self-aware organizations are about their limitations. Most teams don't need to be told their data is incomplete, inconsistent, or shaped by history. They know where definitions shifted. They know where migrations introduced compromises. They know where manual workarounds still exist. What they are cautious about is whether anyone else will understand why the data looks the way it does. That distinction matters. Skepticism about AI is often framed as fear of automation. In practice, it's experience. Previous systems promised clarity and delivered confidence without accuracy. Trust is not about optimism. It is about protection. In practice, organizations tend to respond to AI in two opposing ways. Both are risky. First, too little trust. Some teams trust nothing, so they double-check everything manually and resist new systems even when they would help. That leads to slow decision-making, duplicated effort, and reliance on individuals rather than systems. Second, too much trust. Under pressure and with limited capacity, some teams accept confident outputs because the system sounds right and moving quickly feels necessary. That creates different risks. Decisions made without understanding, errors discovered late, and unclear accountability when something goes wrong. Both responses are understandable, and both are dangerous. The problem is not intelligence. It is unexamined trust. Personal trust doesn't scale. A team may trust a system because they helped build it, tested it, or worked closely with those who did. But that trust has to travel to leadership, compliance, new staff, and external scrutiny. When trust cannot be explained, it collapses into authority. You hear things like, "Leave the technical detail to us. Trust us, we know it works." Those responses don't survive governance. Executives, finance leaders, risk teams, and auditors quite reasonably ask, how do I know this data is accurate? How do I explain this decision clearly to someone outside the team? The easiest outcomes are to believe everything or believe nothing. Neither is defensible. So what does explainable trust look like? It rests on simple, repeatable statements. What decision the system supports? What data it uses? What assumptions it makes? What checks it runs? What would change the outcome? This is not transparency for its own sake. It's about defensibility. When trust can be explained, it becomes something teams can verify rather than something they must feel. One of the biggest mistakes in AI adoption is treating trust as a feeling to be earned instead of a condition to be designed. Trust does not come from confident language, speed, or sophistication. It comes from clarity, boundaries, and visible reasoning. AI does not solve trust problems. It amplifies them. When foundations are weak, automation simply makes uncertainty move faster. A practical starting point is simple. Don't automate everything. Identify one recurring decision. Define what good looks like. Make evidence and assumptions visible. Keep human accountability explicit. Do that once, properly, and trust becomes something teams can explain, not just feel. AI brings data to the table. It does not replace judgment. It surfaces patterns and inconsistencies faster. But responsibility remains human. The shift is not from human to machine. It is from hidden to visible. Organizations that succeed in the next phase of AI adoption will not be those with the most intelligence. They will be those that can explain their decisions clearly, calmly, and consistently, even to people who were not in the room. Trust is not belief. It is understanding. And understanding is something you build, not something you ask for. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening to the Frame Metric podcast. If this resonated, follow the show and share it with someone navigating AI adoption right now.